Nidhi, a very warm welcome to all dear friends, especially Dr. Shardajan ma'am, on this lovely wintry afternoon. Today's topic is sexually transmitted infections, a syndromic approach. Syndromic approach se matlab hai, it is designed to follow a diagnostic logic where no elaborate lab investigations are looked for. The management is based mainly on signs and symptoms. And it's not just about prescribing drugs, it's about educating, counseling, and condom education as well. Education, what is education? The patient is educated about how STIs can lead to infertility, miscarriages, HIV, carcinoma cervix. Counseling is about informing the partners or the spouses about STI, even giving them treatment, assessing the risk of HIV, cervical cancer, and about encouraging monogamous relationships. Basically, we are trying to win the confidence of the patient who comes to us. And last but not the least, condom education is the pillar in prevention. And ma'am, for a few words, but before I hand over the mic to ma'am, I would like to say कि बचपन से मुझे एक शेर बहुत पसंद था और मैम के लिए तो इतना है, खुदी को कर बुलंद इतना कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से पूछे तेरी रजा क्या है. और मैम के साथ तो ऐसा लगता है कि मैम से रोज खुदा पूछने आता है सुबह कि बताइए आप अपनी रजा, और फिर मैम हम सबको बहुत सुंदर ढंग से गाइड करती हैं. थैंक यू
डॉक्टर साहब. उसका राज ये है कि मेरे जैसे लोग मेडिटेशन से छोटे ऊपर वाले से, और उसका एक दास्य भाव है हमारा, जो वो बताता वो करते चले जाते हैं. ठीक है. Anyway, I think the topic chosen has been absolutely great. Here I just wish to tell you is that WHO has very repeatedly told the health experts in this particular country that you do not require big instruments to bring the better health for this particular country. This country is health information hungry. And here if the experts decide कि वो महीने में एक चीज देंगे जो कि कॉमन सेंस की है, आम आदमी के पास वो इंफॉर्मेशन चली जानी चाहिए, तो अगर वो इंफॉर्मेशन पे उसी पे अगर जोड़ देगा तो हमारे देश का उद्धार हो जाएगा. So the medical fraternity, the nurses, the paramedics are definitely informed about it. The beauty of the syndromic syndrome is that it means that any member of the medical fraternity can prescribe this treatment. It's very difficult to swallow by all of us that the nurses can equally treat. The plan by the new government is it is going to start health clinics or wellness clinics across the country, and which will be mainly manned by the nurses. And DGF definitely believes to give awareness about small things. छोटी छोटी चीजों को हम जाने, बड़ी चीज जानने की हमें जरूरत नहीं है. And I think you have very rightly said, this is a time when a person is coming in contact, we can educate ourselves. We promise to educate people around us. We counsel the patients. We counsel all the partners of the patient. We tell them that STI is increasing. With STI, the HIV is also increasing in this particular country. And we have to really do something, because these two things affect the gynecologist in a tremendous way. One side, they cause infertility. On another side, they cause problems in pregnancy as well in terms of abortions, preterm birth, miscarriages, and many other problems. So I think, today's session is going to be absolutely great. And this is totally dedicated to syndromic approach. Over to you, Dr. Divya Singhal.
Thank you, ma'am. Your words are very valuable for us. We have 5 speakers, so not wasting any time, I request.
Should I start?
So Dr. Archana Pathak is going to speak on vaginal discharge. Go ahead, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Full screen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Divya. I'm really thankful to all of you for giving me this opportunity. Yeah. So we start with the syndromic management of vaginal discharge. As we all know, the causative organisms for vaginal...
Madam, your screen is not seen.
Screen is too short, small.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Screen is not seen.
Okay.
Screen is very small.
Yes.
Okay. So we are here to discuss the syndromic management of vaginal discharge. As we all know, the causative organisms for vaginitis are Trichomonas vaginalis, Candida albicans, and Gardnerella vaginalis, which causes bacterial vaginosis. For cervicitis, we have Neisseria gonorrhoeae, Chlamydia trachomatis, Trichomonas vaginalis, and herpes simplex virus. So when we take the history of a patient who comes with this vaginal discharge, it is very important to rule out a pregnancy. First of all, we should see the nature and type of discharge, if there is any genital itching associated with it, if there is any burning while passing urine, or there is increased frequency of urination, if there is any ulcer or swelling anywhere in the genital area. On examination, we do a per speculum examination to see the type of vaginal discharge. In trichomoniasis, we all see a greenish frothy discharge. In candidal infection, we see a curdy white discharge, which sticks to the vaginal wall. In bacterial vaginosis, we see an adherent discharge, grayish white in color. In cervicitis, we see cervical erosion, ulcer, mucopurulent cervical discharge, and we should all do a bimanual pelvic examination to rule out pelvic inflammatory disease. And we should obviously use laboratory investigations to substantiate our diagnosis. So for the treatment of vaginitis, we have secnidazole 2 gram orally, a single dose. Metclopramide should be given 30 minutes before the dose of secnidazole to prevent gastric intolerance. For candidiasis, a start dose of tablet fluconazole 150 milligram is given. For cervicitis, we have cefixime 400 milligram orally, single dose, and azithromycin 1 gram. We should avoid the client to avoid douching. In pregnancy, in the first trimester, local treatment with clotrimazole vaginal pessaries or cream with plus metronidazole pessaries should be given. In second and third trimester, tablet secnidazole can be given 2 gram orally, a start dose, and we should give metclopramide 30 minutes before. Now, guidelines for partner management are: if the partner is symptomatic, one has to treat the client and the partner using all the above protocols. And the drugs are available in the form of various preparations like fast 3 kit and AF kit, which have all the ingredients. Then sexual abstinence should be observed during treatment. One has to provide condoms and educate the patient and the partner about correct and consistent use of condoms. And the patient or the partner should be referred for voluntary counseling and testing of HIV, syphilis, and hepatitis B. Now, these are the common RTIs which I have just enumerated. These are the highlights of candidal infection. There is itch, there is inflammation, there is white discharge, which is thick and adherent. Yeast-like odor is there. pH is 4 to 4.5. On microscopy, we have neutrophils with pseudohyphae and spores, and culture will grow candida. In trichomoniasis, we have soreness, inflammation, white, yellow, green discharge, which is thin and frothy, fishy odor. 5 to 6 is the vaginal pH, and flagellatory protozoan in neutrophilic background is seen on microscopy. And we will culture trichomonas if we care to do that. In bacterial vaginosis, there is smell which is fishy. There is no inflammation. It is basically a disarrangement of the normal vaginal flora. And on microscopy, one would see clue cells. pH changes from 5 to 6. And culture is not useful in this. Now, if a patient comes with a complaint of vaginal discharge, one has to take history, especially sexual history. One has to determine the risk score. A bimanual pelvic examination, speculum is needed. One has to clean and inspect the cervix, observe the nature of vaginal discharge, and give preventive message. Now, this is the risk factor scoring. If the score is less than 2, it goes in favor of vaginitis, and the treatment I have just enumerated is enough. But if the score is 2 or more, then the patient and the partner has to be treated for cervicitis. Now, this is what I have just told, because if it is cervicitis, then the organisms are gonorrhea, Chlamydia trachomatis, and Trichomonas vaginalis. These are all sexually transmitted diseases, while Candida and bacterial vaginosis are not. So this is the same slide, and this is a flow chart which is suggesting what all we are supposed to do once we examine a patient and how we can treat the patient. Basic crux of the situation is that we should educate the patient and the partner whenever we think it's a sexually transmitted disease. We should counsel them. We should promote HIV counseling and testing if facilities are available, and we should promote hygienic measures and provide condoms. These are the basic general precautions one should not do. Use medication as directed by the doctor. Avoid sexual intercourse till the treatment is completed. Don't scratch an infected or inflamed area because it can cause further irritation. And if using medication, then don't use it during the during menses. During an infection, use pads rather than tampons if menses occur. Avoid vaginal irritants like perfume, deodorants, and soaps. If symptoms persist, then an examination is indicated, and definitely the doctor has to be consulted. Now, correct diagnosis is definitely the necessity before therapy. Careful history examination, laboratory tests to determine the etiology. Diagnosis can be accomplished by a microscopic examination in 90% of the cases in clinician's office. And a cytologic smear is very, very important. And complete treatment is the crux of the situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Archana Pathak. That was short, crisp, and precise. Very excellent presentation. Thank you so much. I would just like to add to this that during pregnancy, when a patient complains of vaginal discharge, which is smelly or itchy or there is burning, so one must put in a speculum. And like Dr. Archana Pathak said, one must look at the cervix if there is a mucopurulent discharge or a cervical erosion or a friable cervix. And one must think about chlamydia and gonorrhea and treat the patient. It's very simple to treat even during pregnancy. For gonorrhea, it's 250 milligrams of ceftriaxone intramuscular dose. And for chlamydia, we have azithromycin 1 gram. That is all that needs to be done. Yes, again, in the third trimester, this patient should be followed up, and chlamydia and gonorrhea should be tested, because if she's going to have a normal vaginal delivery, then definitely the baby can get conjunctivitis, can even get blindness and pneumonia. So we need to check for chlamydia and gonorrhea again in the third trimester, and a NAT test is very important for that. As far as the vaginal discharge is concerned, vaginitis is concerned, bacterial vaginosis has to be treated because during pregnancy, because the patient can go into preterm labor, into miscarriages, and into chorioamnionitis, etc. So all these concerns about vaginal discharge, which is such a common finding in all our clinics, is very important. Thank you so much.